Hey, good morning. Timothy Darrell Young, BS MPA, born June 5th, 1979, American. In 2004, I was in my graduate dorm at the University of Oregon. And my television started talking like at me. Started getting gang stalked, NSA acknowledgement of surveillance on my computer. Just got into the psychiatric community, taking antidepressants was some of my first foray into modern science, trying to understand the mind. And that's when the torture began for over a decade of these months and years since springtime 2004. For over a decade, I thought it was just mental illness. I've taken like a dozen antipsychotics in vain, hoping that they would stop this pain and torture, and it never has in all that time. So 1.5 million estimated out of like 230, 237 something million Americans, 1.5 million for TI. And so for 3 shifts a day to cover a 24-hour shift, that's 3 people. So if you were covering 1.5 million TI, that'd be like 4.5 million electromagnetic form gang stalkers, possibly, or people with access to the tech. I've seen some recent videos of TI that are like, yeah, don't go to the dark web and shit like that. I was at Cedar Hills Hospital recently before I showed up to this facility for mental health care. I did call in the Oregon Health Authority, Black Hawk, swooping in, and there was EMF Gang Stalkers at the facility as I was calling in the authorities. There was a lot of other things going on around me. Counter Darkness, he's changed his name, but he was getting attacked simultaneously. There was an EMF gang stalker that was threatening Counter Darkness's website with all those nice, like, pictorial graphics of like the black budget operatives and all of the simultaneous stuff that they're doing. So I'm in Cedar Hills Hospital, throwing down as an Oregonian. They don't know that, and I prefer angelic because you're no angels. You're no angels. But I was a good man. But I'm no devil. They invented those essentially. Anyways, one of these EMF perp devils shows up at this facility that I'm at and starts threatening Counter Darkness's website. It subsequently went down. His YouTube is down. His website with all his black budget research is down. Ramola D on Twitter was talking about how he got threatened, maybe even with getting cloned also. And he since changed his name on Twitter. I had messaged him, and I still have his new name on there. He looks like a young guy like me, maybe 10, 15 years younger than I am. I'm not sure exactly, but he's done amazing work that's really important and valuable for particularly Christians and everybody trying to avoid the Satanism. They need to know no matter what voice speaks in their head, it's going to be variations of people paid $35 an hour to perpetrate their mind, home, body, community, and none of it's God. And a lot of that was drawn out visually on behalf of the effort of Counter Darkness, who commissioned the artwork. I mean, his website is exceptional. And he's enduring the same torture I am. On that last video that I posted where I was still being so misled, I still am. Like a voice in my head entitled me like a lord position. Like, poor dear Counter Darkness, they're brainwashing him to think he's Christ individually also. And it's like a word trick among other criteria. We just need to avoid it. First of all, if I'm not mistaken, the brown-skinned Palestinian man from 2019 years ago didn't get the title God until 300 years after he died, and it was a rubber stamp of a French emperor. I'm trying not to be a successful con. They con me. They use satanic toppers satanic repeaters, satanic suggesters, satanic mimicry, nano thievery, satanic misdirection, satanic disrespect, satanic mocking, um, targeted individual torture, 15 years chakra abuses. I mean, I've been a toothpick for Satanism my whole spinal cord since uh, getting off the state board of higher ed and getting tortured by gang stalkers, federal police state apparatuses, and what amounts to what Bush was reading on the day of September the 11th, his pet goat story. And then in later recalling it, he called it his pet pig story, which is hilarious considering what I think I know about some of these torture mechanisms, apparatus, direct energy weapons, and the overlap with the police state, and then how compromised they are to begin with and tempted. And then you throw in that for an EMF gang or group of gangs, it's actually really low skill to impersonate a police officer. Like anybody can do that. Anyways, what up, Kevin Christian in Atlanta? All the 1.5 million TI. Sadly, a lot of them don't even know they're in torture hells. They think it's just mental illness. And of the 4.5 to 5 million, just the compartmentalized front foot soldiers for the International Antichrist Army that is gang stalking, like those 4.5 million Americans are terrorists. They're enemies of the United States, and they need to be disbanded. That's not a well um, run militia. Those community spy groups, community policing, so it seems so benign, took down Germany and USSR, these same tactics, making work for work's sake. They're making work for a meat grinder, and it's domestic terrorism. Anyways, good morning. It's about 7 minutes on this video. I looked over that Jefferson Bible Bobble video, and it was modified. I to the account. I was still so lied to, and I'm still so lied to as well. So I activated my fail-safe instructions from the House of God when I was a kid about them black Swiss cheese holes, and I'm trying to found a nonprofit very much in this room that you see around you. It's a nut house. I am in a mental health facility, but according to me and Google now, and I'm sorry, Jews, my V2K perps were trying to do a misdirect onto you as a whole tribe, and they've been saying your name and satanic repeaters and doing set design, trying to blame you for all these nanos. And I really don't think that's fair. And I'm not in an objective reality. That's not qualitatively or quantitatively valid as a statement. And in a lot of ways, I'm just a blue state political activist that they're trying to neutralize. So, traditional allies of a blue state voter, black people, Jewish people, minorities, women. And so they've come at me, attacking me from all those, the youth. They've attacked me from all those different angles and groups, and a lot to do with 3 EMF perps that have followed me around the West. I've been to Washington, California, Utah, Nevada, and then back to Oregon over about 3 years of live psychological operations and sleeping on the beaches of Santa Monica to psych wards in Salt Lake City. These electromagnetic form perps, criminals with access to government, really black ops systems to be able to even bounce out of like the signal off my body. I mean, my body itself is a surveillance device, and they'll fake things in front of me for this fake surveillance, and it's all really Satanism. It's been about a year since I've had the new website up. I still haven't been able to fully secure it. I'll try and do that, and then I've sent emails or Twitters to WordPress to activate my old website. Which, when I went to a bank, there was satanic set design suggesting that they were keeping 2 sets of books off the donation part that I left on the website. One of the reasons why I closed it, but I should be able to. I did a name change, but we don't need to go in. The EMF perps were at the courthouse when I changed my name. It didn't make a difference. And my birthday was, it's really important that gang stalkers know that my birthday was one day before the sign of the beast on the Christian calendar in 2006, and to stop taking the $35 for this particular TI. I sort of, the Darrell Young kid basketball telegraph move of the slam dunk, more or less predicted a blowout at the top of the federal government in so many words. And then now we're here in January 21st, and they still haven't turned the federal government back on. So there's some video that will be indicative of MPA advanced planning. And then also I get information occasionally into my consciousness of an advanced time frame on this reality itself. Like I don't know how many seconds or minutes there in the future, but every once in a while I will be in the advanced information group also, beyond just MPA advanced planning. It gets complicated, but Mockingbird and a psych ward in fucking Utah was bragging about how they have basically reality on a delay and they use it to do such fabulous and worthy things as rig sporting events through like complex applications of what is time and having advanced information. So yeah, the world's not fair, and we may not even be in the real world. But I'll try and keep these videos short. Uh, I had some Periscope videos where the videos, like audio, is all cut off. They make my videos seem like nobody watches them and artificially lowering the hit count. And then there's a TI, Dr. Karen Horton in Switzerland that has figured out that like if it shows like 100 people saw her YouTube video, then like 1,000 did. But those more or less censoring this chakra, the throat chakra, is those tactics are more or less being applied to me as well. So I don't have an accurate gauge on my impact on things because they use TI tactics to obscure us and other crimes against creation as we're being they're working against the Christian genome specifically. Like I'm Buddhist trained and it helps you endure during psychological operations, not to be taught to rely on any external force to save you. And that's more or less what I've done for myself. Uh, Sitting at the nonprofit in Hillsboro that I founded for the Black Swiss cheese hole exits in space, corroborated by Wes Penray, a woman that worked for with the Pleiades, and a number of other sources now. Those moments of death are important in getting out of ever being corporeal again, let alone corporeal and then biohacked. Holy shit, unholy shit is the better word. Like the mind and body I had at 25 is what Christian creation intended for you, what Buddhist creation intended for you. All this synthetic telepathy, torture. It's not even spiritual, it's torture. Okay, yeah, and then getting back to it, I mean, I may check into it some more, I may not right away, but I was approached to look at the information coming out of the cloning center out of like LA roughly by an EMF perp and impersonating my old roommate Billy, and it's some pretty horrific shit. I feel really bad for those folks. Yeah, they threatened to clone me too. It really pissed me off. Uh, Fuck you, crazy guys. I don't even give a shit what fucking species you are at this point. Who's being real? Anyways, good morning, West Coast. I love you. It's about 4:05 Pacific Standard Time AM, January 21st, 2019. Timothy Darrell Young, BSM, PA, June 5th, 1979, American. The federal government is still set to shut down. We blew through that 1% or less than 1% chance that I was talking about in a previous video. And you need to stop fucking perping me is the message. Merry fucking Christmas.